Record is on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shakti Talk. Today, we have the co-founder of Shambhala Tantra, Kirby. He received his first initiation to Tantra in 1993 and has been teaching students all over the world since then. He's studied many traditions from all over the world, and his current focus is on shifting society through the empowerment of the natural feminine. Welcome, Kirby. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Hi. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
So I love the informal nature of the way that we're approaching this. And that is part, I believe, of taking some of the formality and structure away from the hierarchical approach to being with and dealing with the world. Mm-hmm. I believe that the natural feminine actually is something that we don't really know yet, that we're in the process of discovering, because both women and men in our society have been trained to be feminine. And so there's particular ways that we understand that men should behave or women should behave or transsexuals should behave or so forth. And those are fences or limitations for all of us. And what I believe we need to do, because we're in a time of great transition right now. There's the decisions that we make, the what we see and what we understand are more important now than they are during normal times in history. I believe that the main guide for us is nature. And as we discover the feminine, we look at nature in a new way, not in a way that reflects what we already know, but in a way to help us discover who we really are inside. And the way to approach that, in my mind, is that as we look at ourselves and experience ourselves directly, not with thought processes, but with raw experience, when we feel ourselves in the world, when we feel the embodiment of life within ourselves, that is our primary teacher. When we take that embodiment and that sensation, when we feel those processes arising within us, and we find ways to connect with living things around us, then we know how we really want to communicate. And that's our foundation for communication. Why women? I think research and history shows that women are more focused on networking, communication, caretaking, and things of that nature. We no longer have the focus of wanting to expand our territories, conquer, control, or things of that nature, because what we have is a planet where we've run out. We have run to the end of what's available on our planet. So we must change it from the idea that is the wild to the idea that we are part of it. We are not separate from it. We cannot conquer it. We belong to it. And we belong to each other. And that's a beautiful starting point for us to understand how it is that we can begin our walk. First, we connect within ourselves. We feel experientially, not through thought processes. We feel experientially what it's like to be a human being, what it's like to be alive in this world. And those feelings, those sensations can teach us that when we connect with another person, we are not going outside of ourselves. That aliveness is within them as well. And that experience is within them as well. And when we truly connect and bond with each other, as we should, what we have then is something that is far greater than just two people. There is a synergy created with this. There is a synergy created with all the connection. And when we start reaching out through different practices such as tree breathing or connecting with the heavens or even connecting with our dog or cat, we are extending who we are, and we're extending this experience into a recognition of what they're experiencing within themselves. There's a philosophical school that is fairly recent called panpsychism, which makes the claim, and I believe a well-found one, that everything has consciousness, right down photons. The consciousness, is not of the same kind, but it is consciousness nonetheless. So it's a difference in amount between me and my coffee cup, but not a difference in kind. And when we understand that, we realize that we belong to the whole world, that we are truly born into the world, into the place that we're in, that what we have to connect with is all the living things around us. And when we have that as something we experience, not an idea, not, oh, we should be like this or we should be like that, but we truly feel and experience what this is to be a living thing in this living network of life all over the world. Our behavior will be different, and it will be different in a way that we need. It will be different in a way that we can go forward. We can create a society that will last 1,000 years. Right now, our society is not on that path, not even near it.
No, we're on a crash course.
Yeah, we are so busy.
So, yeah, we're fucked. I mean, let's just be real.
Yeah.
So, wow. Okay, so that's a lot. Now, but what I'm hearing you say is that we are love. We belong to each other. We belong to our Mother Earth, or we're all children of Mother Earth. And that it's about dropping our mind and getting more into our heart, connecting with each other. That's so beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, that's certainly, that is it right there. Thank you. I appreciate that. So as we walk down this road, I think it's really important to remember that we've got to get out of our houses.
Yes.
And we need to run naked in nature. We need to
yes.
realize what it's like to be
naked in nature.
Yes.
That's so scandalous. Is that approved by the government?
Hopefully not. The structures that we currently...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not. I'll wear nothing but a mask. Oh my God. Yes, my neighbors will love it. They're already asking questions. Okay, so I have a question. So how can women's empowerment help our evolution as humanity? How does that help? Empowering women.
Well, okay, so to begin with, I'm going to throw a 2-second tantric history in this. The feminine kind of tantra, which is called Shaktism, started in the Neolithic period. At least in India, there's current archaeological evidence that it was there. I believe it's 30 to 40,000 years ago. During that time period, people were a part of the world that they were in. They were born into the place that they were in, into the conscious spirit that they were part of. In a way, they were like an organ in our body or something like that. And so when they went out into the world around them, they were not separate from anything. They were not, they did not see the boundary. They didn't see the skin as a boundary. They said, in classic animism, it's like they recognized themselves in the trees. They recognized themselves in the lakes. And that is, I think, where we need to return. And so how can we do that from our current position? Because where women are right now is in a situation where current evidence has, as far as I can tell, and it's, it kind of goes back and forth, but it looks like men have been essentially holding the reins of power for a very long time, tens of thousands of years likely.
Yes.
And that can be useful in a situation where you have a small community in a very large context and where you need to protect those people. Right now, what we need to protect is our living environment so that we can continue on. And so where do we go from that? We take a look at what it feels like to nurture. We take a look at what it feels like to caretake, to have good communication. And those will teach us so that we can expand beyond the roles that we've been given as children. And we can go into the deeper role of what it is to be a living being that is flowing in the aliveness of the world. Now, there's a word for the way that this aliveness feels. When you go into yourself, one of the classic deep meditation descriptions from Tibetan practices. It is called the ocean of bliss.
Mm.
And I believe that is why when you go into this place, the way that you feel is like love, only much bigger.
Mm.
It's like there's so much of this love that you cannot contain, that you must share it, that you're simply a part of it, and that you're flowing in the sea of love. It's not something that you can have or give or take. You can simply recognize that it's there.
Mm.
More people have that feeling. I believe that their actions are going to be completely synchronous with where we need to be and what we need to do.
That is exquisite. Thank you, Kirby. So what I'm hearing is that we are all connected, and that if we uplift women, we uplift humanity. This is not theory. This is proven. And that it's about experiencing the love that we are, and romantic partnership gives us a little bit of a taste of that. It gives us a taste of that. However, the power within women and in everyone, feminine energy in everyone, is indeed our life force energy, which will carry us to a higher state of consciousness, which is our true nature.
Yes, I believe that is the case. And I think the thought that I have on the way that that would work is that, well, I do not believe that women or men are innately superior to each other. There's qualities that we need to have more of at this time. And for a long time, it served us very well to have men primarily powerful because they were better in difficult circumstances, defense, things like that. I don't believe we're in that world anymore. I think we have really overwhelmed the natural world. And so the way that men come along with this is, I believe, in the same way. But in a real sense, if a white male who's currently on this planet kind of got the best options available, if a white male can find out that there is this bliss, that there is this ocean of bliss, then all of a sudden there's no longer the need to dominate. There's no longer the need to control or any of that. But instead of focusing on action and making things happen and that kind of thing, the focus will be on listening and giving offering and focusing on the connection that we have between people. On another conversation, I would love to talk about how we can see astrology in such a way that it can guide us along this particular path.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. I need to metabolize that. And I'm hearing that everyone needs to work together and lead with love so we can move out of this place of anxiety and fear and trauma into a place where we can experience the love of creation, or whatever we want to call it, and that we all have our special roles to play. No one is better than anyone else, and we are creating a rainbow of love from the mountains to the sea for all of the creatures of our planet, which was the vision that you gave me, which is part of your Dharma. And oh wow, thank you so much, so beautiful. My co-founder of Shambhala Tantra. It's time for my naked run with nothing but a mask, and I'm gonna feel what you said while I run naked through my neighborhood. Thanks Kirby, and we'll look forward to hearing more about astrology and how that supports us with relationships and how we operate in the world. Namaste.
Namaste, my friend. Thank you for being here.